So having had my wedding ceremony on May 11th in Saigon, a few days later, my wife, Lei Sun, and I got on a plane, flew through Hong Kong for a couple of days of honeymoon there, landed in San Francisco, and then made our way to Washington, D.C. And I showed up at the front door of the White House, 31 years old, Foreign Service officer, coming to serve at the National Security Council. And while I knew the NSC, as everyone referred to it, was important, to be honest, I wasn't quite sure exactly what the National Security Council was or what it did. And of course, I wasn't at the front door of the White House, but at the employees' entrance of the old executive office building, a large 4-story gray building from the late 19th century, which sits immediately to the west of the White House. And it's where the National Security Council staff and offices are located. So to understand what my job was, the NSC is actually 3 different things. First of all, it's a formal, structured decision-making process in which the most important decisions about foreign policy, foreign affairs, questions of war and peace are decided by the president. And the National Security Council members are the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, Secretary of Treasury, and the Attorney General when their issues are involved, the Director of the Central Intelligence Agency, and other representatives or leaders, not representative leaders, of other foreign affairs related agencies. And for very big decisions, they will come and sit with the president in the White House, and the last debate and discussion is made about what the president should decide. So it's the decision-making mechanism. President, of course, is the decider, but where the top advisors are with the president in a room as the issues are debated and discussed and enabling the president to make a decision. Secondly, the National Security Council is a process by which the government coordinates decisions. There are many, many decisions the president will make. There are different views from different agencies. Again, it's state, defense, treasury, intelligence agencies. And for the president to make decisions, and there are decisions being made virtually every day, papers have to be submitted. And so the advisor to the president for national security affairs in 1974, as I arrived, is Henry Kissinger. And a national security decision memorandum would be issued saying the president needs to make a decision about this particular issue. And each agency is asked to submit a paper. Those papers all come to the National Security Council offices, and then they are put together. A memorandum is produced by members of the NSC staff outlining State Department's position is this, Defense Department position is this, the director of CIA doesn't take positions on issues but provides intelligence, indicates the following information, and then outlines the options the president has. Do option A, option B, option C. These papers then will be presented to the president. The president will read through it, check a box, make a decision, and the decision is then disseminated in the government so everyone knows what the president has decided and they can implement the president's decision. Third, the NSC is the staff. So the National Security Advisor, again, Henry Kissinger, had an office in the White House itself, in the West Wing. We'd have two smaller offices right outside his office, where his deputy national security advisor would be. In this case, it was Lieutenant General Brent Scowcroft, three-star Air Force general. Had another aide there, at my time, a Marine major named Robert Bud McFarland. Interestingly, both Scowcroft and McFarland would later have the job Kissinger had as NSC advisor. And then there were a couple of administrative support staff. All the rest of the NSC staff was located on the third floor and a few offices on the fourth floor of the old executive office building. So we could go back and forth. You had to walk outside and go across a street that divided the two buildings. It wasn't an open street for pedestrians, but it was called West Executive Avenue. And I had a pass, White House pass, so I could come and go into the West Wing. And in fact, I could go anywhere in the White House, except up to the family quarters, move about there. So I was one of about probably 40 to 50 NSC staff members. I think now in the 21st century, there are many, many more, but it was small staff. There were three of us who worked on Asia in general, the one other who worked on China, and so we had just three of us. One was the senior staff member who covered all of Asia, and then a man named Bill Stearman and myself who worked on Indochina. So two of us worked just on Indochina, reflecting the fact that the Vietnam War had still been going on and wasn't yet resolved. So I would spend the next 2.5 years working out of Office 369 in the old EOB, as everyone referred to it. And I would have an amazing array of experiences.